All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I love seeing your beautiful faces. This is awesome. So let's continue our discussion from last week. And the title is just Eternity Starts Now. So it's us making intentional decisions, conscious decisions to um, mold our lives, change our lives, improve our lives so that we're living as if it's just forever, and it really is. So let's intentionally kind of design what it is that we want to do with our lives. I did this with a group of ladies in my church this week as well. So I'm a little bit confused which one we've done or we haven't done, but I think I'll remember soon. Um, the beautiful thing is I'm talking to a bunch of young ladies with young children as well, and I'm just letting them know that they can, um, slow down and plan their lives so they don't have to rush through it. I said I did. I took the time actually right before we got married. We kind of made plans of what we're going to do. If we had kids, what would we do for the, 16 years of their lives, the first 16 years? Like, by this time, they should be able to, you know, like do their own laundry or at least fold a piece of clothing or whatever. And, by 16, we should have them, do their driver's license and, those physical things. But also, we decided what we wanted to do as a family. We wanted to, because we looked around, things we liked about our family and things we didn't like our current family, and then what we want to create together. So something like being polite. So my husband's like, let's learn how to just speak politely to each other all the time as much as we can, and just those points. And we kind of talked about the principles of the gospel, why we want to do it that way. um, and yeah, and it was really, really helpful because once we put that down, we were able to put things in motion. We're never perfect, but at least we have a vision, and it really blessed our lives. So I'm hoping to help you guys. I'm sure you guys have done something similar already, but if you haven't, and for those who are watching, let's do this. If you're not married yet, this is great because you're planning ahead and you know what to do with your future husband. Yeah, to bless your family life. I think last week we covered character. We covered the different things that we want to become, because character is something that we need to do daily, and it becomes who you are. Okay. So, what does honest look like? What does reliable look like? We talked about, being reliable means are reliable at all times and in all places, and not just at specific situations. Um, we talked about being virtuous and trustworthy, forgiving. I don't know if I had this conversation with you guys, but with the other ladies, it's like make a choice to be forgiving now. And when things happen, you already know you're going to forgive, and you know why you're forgiving, right? One lady asked me, so Jade, is forgiving like forgetting? You're supposed to forget, but it's silly because I don't forget. And there's nowhere in the scriptures that I know of that says you're supposed to forget. You just learn from your lesson, just be careful next time. But forgive means give people a chance to move forward without holding a grudge, loving on them. Um, and for you to move forward as well, to be renewed. And so we explored that a lot more, but it was so nice to go, oh, okay. And then that's how we could teach our children, because when we understand it better, we teach our kids better. So, with your permission, let's move on to the next thing. I think we covered lifestyle a little bit, but I think we can just go over that a bit more with people here today. So sometimes we haven't decided what kind of lifestyle we want. We jump in and then we're like busy and stressed and wound up being a mum. Because I did a session with a lady like that recently, and she felt like she had to take her kids out all the time to do activities all the time. They had to be in something all the time. And she's just so stressed, and her house is a mess, and she just, couldn't figure out why she's so unhappy. She's just like, I wish I could run away. And I thought, okay, let's just pause and let's design the kind of lifestyle you want. Okay. And then, let's just figure out how it can be done, So just have a look at that list. But I invite you to come up with more of your own as well. Okay. So creative, playful, modest, punctual, playful, joyful, peaceful, clean, organized, orderly, educated, abundant. Okay, so I'm going to stop the share, and I invite you to, think about maybe one of these things, or, some things that you think of that's not here. Just, we can make a long list in every category here of our lives. But yeah, okay, let's talk about lifestyle. What kind of lifestyle you'd like to create and why?
I remember the first thing that comes to my mind is free to serve. That's
Mhm.
something that sticks with me. Like I just like really want to have time to like serve myself so I can serve other people. So
Mm,
I can learn and grow and become me and then go out and share that
yeah, that's really
uh,
good.
and help other people become their best selves.
Yeah, that's really good. When you focus on that positive, you make all these changes, to clutter your life. Yeah, and you create time. Yeah, and to say no to things that are not the best, so that you can keep that energy for the things that are the best. Reserve your spirit. Yeah, I love that. So a lifestyle filled with peace and service, right? So free to serve,
Mm-hmm.
free to rest, free to read your scriptures. Yeah. What else, guys? What kind of lifestyle would you like to create? Yeah, if we don't plan, we get default. Yeah. I remember when the children were little, I helped them clean their rooms, and I helped, I showed them the house. I held their hands. We walked around, so like a little train. And I said, "This is clean." Okay. And then I say, "See your toys, it's in the box. See your clothes is hung up." And so we walked around, and I explained to them, "This is clean. Say clean with mummy." Okay. And I said, "Why do we want to be clean?" And so they gave their answers. And then I helped them understand that God is clean and God is organized. And I asked them, "How do you feel?" And they say, "Feel good." And I explain to them, that's a feeling of peace and then joy. And when we feel peace and joy, we um, feel the spirit of God. Okay. And this is a good feeling. And we had to do this a few times, but it helps the kids understand why we clean. Not because mommy said so, not because it's mommy's house, we want to be clean and organized because God is that way, and we're practicing to be celestial kingdom citizens, so practicing heaven. Yeah, kind of find a gospel principle to explain why you do what you do. We talked about being still last time. And I think Melinda shared a beautiful quote. It's let's see, I'll show you. She said it's from Hans Margolius. That's only in the quiet waters things mirror themselves undistorted. Only in a quiet mind is adequate perception of the world. So we're trying to sell to our minds the idea that if you're still, you're able to receive revelation better. So teaching your children to take a lot of time out to be still and to receive answers, no matter how old they are. Anybody want to comment about lifestyle? You can be joyful and playful. Doing the housework doesn't have to be dull. Make it fun. We like to turn up the music on Saturday mornings and spend 2 hours cleaning, and everyone's doing their share. That's kind of fun. Remember, it was just fun memories. Ben's outside doing the yard work, and the girls and I are in the house doing our thing. And 2 hours we're done, but we're singing and listening to music at the same time. That was fun. How about a lifestyle of being prayerful? Pray in the car right before you start the car or pull out. Pray at night. Pray over meals. Pray before you go to school. Pray when you wake up in the morning. Have a Father's blessing and prayer before a new school year starts. Pray over our friends and our families. When we say we'll pray for somebody, I'll make sure we do it.
I think I'm grateful. I want to live a grateful lifestyle, like live in gratitude.
Yeah. I feel like I took grateful to a whole new level the last couple of weeks. I was talking to my friend. She's in South Carolina, and she had the same problem. Well, similar. She had some back problems, and she pulled something in her groin. She pulled something, and she was just in a really bad place too. And we're talking about how grateful we are to be able to sit on the toilet without being assisted. Grateful to be able to stand and wash the dishes without being bent over and in pain. And just gratitude of being able to sit and hold a cup and drink without hurting. And yeah, just a little grateful, and a new whole level of gratitude. Yeah. So that's lovely. And I think that's so important. My friend, she said her husband, I did a session on this lady. She said her husband kept saying, if the kids are naughty, just hit them, just spank them. And she's like, no, I don't want to perpetuate that culture, and then he's like, well, you make them soft. And then, soft means they're going to be spoiled. And I asked her, I said, what's, something that we can do to make sure the kids don't turn out spoiled. I don't believe that love is going to spoil the children. I think, love is what Heavenly Father wants us to do, and we talked about explaining to the kids what was wrong instead of spanking them. And then, I said, look, you can give your children stuff and you can love your children, but teach them gratitude, because gratitude is the antidote to being spoilt. And they can have a ton of things. They're blessed because we're blessed. So let them be blessed. Don't hold back. But just make sure that we teach them gratitude, because no matter how much we have, if we have a heart of gratitude, then, we're not spoiled. And she's like, oh, okay. Because they're so worried about that. So they just cannot let go of that conflict. You need to yell at them, you need to hit them. I was like,
Yeah, does it make sense
yeah,
that we make people feel bad and hurt them
and
to
expect
get
good
them
to come out.
and expect them to, yeah.
Smack, 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 don't hurt your brother. I'm like, wait, we're being smacked right now. Um, yeah, pain, 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 fear, 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 and then we expect faith and happy and love. No, yeah, doesn't make sense. The input and the output. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, that gratitude is a big thing. So I'm glad you brought that up, Debbie. Yeah. So we don't have to be rushed. We can be organized. We can be abundant. We can value education too. We don't have to be, huge scholars, but we can value studying the gospel. We can value learning. Yeah. And that way we allow our children to meet that fundamental human need of growth. Okay. So that we don't seek for other things because we're bored. Sometimes people just need stimulation, and it leads to just different types of addictions. So when we have growth, in intellect and in other areas, it kind of protects us from, going down that path of trying to, be stimulated by other things. Yeah.
I think it's really important that we educate the heart with our children and like with ourselves, because we can know a lot of things, but if we don't feel it, we don't know it with our hearts, we really don't experience real growth.
Yeah.
And as we were talking about lifestyle, a lot of times we have to unlearn the things that we learned in our life. I just recently read a book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. And it really helps. If you have think you're poor, going to be poor. But if you change that thought and believe in yourself in something more than you've been told, or you will become that better person. So anyway, I've just been really kind of researching these thoughts a lot.
That's so good, Patsy. I love that. Yeah, I love the educating the heart part. I talked about the 3 levels of learning. You learn and you get things in your brain, and then you move it to your heart. And then when it's in your heart, it drives your action. So it moves into your hands. So when we truly learn something, we're doing it. From moving from the head, heart to the hands, head, heart to the hands. So, it's only the first level of learning when we, put it in our minds, our head, right? Yeah. So I love that too, I think it sounds like that book says, like, don't just settle for to be who other people think you are, right? And, raise the bar and expect more from yourself. I love that, education is so important for our family. I often say to my children, it's not hard, it's just new. So when something's new, it feels like it's a bit of a struggle, but once you do it often enough, you get better at it and it becomes easier. So it's not hard, it's just new. All right. Anybody else want to add to that? So I'm sure we can say a lot more, but how about we move on to the next thing here? I think we did cover a little bit of the relationships, but that's okay. Let's cover that a little more. So let's share that again. What kind of relationships do we want to have? I think just because I do sessions on a lot of people, it is still very fresh in my mind how when we're not intentional about these things, we kind of settle for what everyone else is doing. So, like husband and wife, it's like, that's how a relationship is. We get mad, we yell at each other all the time, and that's how it is. That's how we talk. Without, like, what Patsy was talking about, just kind of elevating yourself a little bit and expecting better, expecting more, right? Or, my kids, they do their thing. They don't talk very much with me. And so that's how it is for our family. I'm like, could we do better? Could we plan on having a closer relationship with our children? Let's set some ideals. So some of the things I've come up with, I did this very quickly. And after looking at it, I'm like, oh, I could add this and all that. But it's okay. I think, we could keep going and going, but we just need to get started somewhere to have a focus, right? So, being friendly. My husband and I were talking about loving and liking each other. That's two different things. So being friendly and caring and kind and patient, and having unity and happy. So the unity is so important for us. It's not like majority rules. Most of the time, we just want to make sure everybody's happy with it. Otherwise, we'll just sit and wait until everybody's happy with it and not make that decision until we've resolved it. So kind of like the same way that God operates, okay, within at my church especially, yeah. So encouraging. So we have the Australian tall poppy syndrome that I tell my kids about, and I'm like, no, we don't do that, just talking about things in a negative way and then cutting people down because they're outshining. Collaborating. Whenever we collaborate, we do more and we do it better. Somebody said to my husband, like, oh, once your daughter Emily graduates, you have another lawyer in the home, and then your brother-in-law, he's going to be done with law school then too, and you'll have you can have a law firm, and I'm like, yeah, that's great, because that's collaboration, right? And somebody said, oh, no, you don't want to do that because then, you have less for everyone. You're splitting the profits and nobody's going to get enough money. And so I'm thinking, I really, really buy into that collaboration philosophy where when you're united, you're one, you help each other out, things are better, your work is better, it's easier. We just get more when we're together. So anyways, yeah, that's the idea of collaborating and communicating. That's huge. I mean, there's so many skills there we can talk about, like different roles, and then, just making sure you check in and just, to clarifying, checking for understanding. So many skills that we can teach our children, and pick one of these things and, have a car ride conversation or have a family home evening or just a meeting at nighttime with your family. Being considerate, that's so huge. That's like a community mindset. I try to teach my kids this because it's kind of hard because we've had our own space for so long. And I said, look, in Vietnam, like everybody lives really close together. We have several generations in one home, and everything you do, you've got to be considerate. And it's actually a good thing, and it's just an automatic mindset for people. And yeah, we just have to teach our kids very explicitly what that looks like and how that feels, and being compassionate and keeping promises, and why that's important, because keeping promises is a precursor to keeping covenants, right? Anyways, those are the things that I've come up with. You're welcome to pick one of these things and, share your thoughts, or, if you have something else that come to mind, you're welcome to share it. So go ahead, guys.
It just reminded me of the part about promise keeping and covenant keeping. It reminds me of, well, just because we've been studying Nephi, how Zoram, when Nephi gave his word to Zoram didn't hesitate, because back then it was such a big deal. Like, when you say you're going to do something,
Yeah.
then you do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
the word is golden.
Yeah, your word is golden. And okay, that leads me to, and forgive me if I don't remember all the characters, but whoever, was it the king who like asked the daughter what she wanted, and she said John's head?
Yeah.
And he had to cut off John's head. It's because their word is their bond, right? It was like almost like he couldn't go back on it. And then he knew it was wrong, and he felt it so bad. But anyway, like, that is a really important principle. It's something I think that we can nurture more in our youth and our children. So
yeah, I love that you brought that up. So Debbie's talking about, stories in the Book of Mormon and the Bible there, examples of people speaking, and that becomes their contract, their bond. Yeah, because you got to really be conscious of what you say, and then remember what you say, and then honor it, right? I had a couple of ladies throughout the experiences of energy balancing sessions say to me, "Oh, my kids don't listen to me. They don't respect me." And it goes back to this. I asked her, she was like, "Oh, how do I get the kid to listen? Get the kids to get?" And I said, "Well, let's not get the kid anything right now. Let's look at what you're doing." And one of the biggest things is, I say, "Do you keep your promises to yourself? How are you with that? Are you golden, in your words?" Say, like last night I was exercising. I worked out in the morning the other day, and I was like, okay, if I don't get a chance to work out in the morning, I'll exercise before bed. So anyways, last night that thought came back to my mind, and I thought to myself, yeah, because I woke up early for Australia Day. I didn't have a chance to exercise, so I need to honor myself. And I went ahead and did almost 5K. And I thought, oh, I'm so glad I did that. And my heart was like, yeah, I honored me. Yes, yes. So it's kind of, really important, that we, in and of ourselves, we honor ourselves. When we say something and we want to do something, we need to do it. I mean, we're not going to be perfect 100% of the time, but we need to be that person, excuse me, that, your children can respect. So when you say, yeah, I'm going to do that, and you don't remember that you're doing that, or, your kids might remember, and then slowly your words lose its meaning and lose its value, because they never know when you're coming or going. Your words have no meaning to them. And so, when you're telling them, oh, let's do this, let's do that, and they don't respect you and they don't listen, it's because we've created that. It's not difficult or a mystery to change. Just start being self-aware of what you're saying, and then start honoring yourself, and don't make promises unless you know for sure that you'll be able to follow through. Yeah. even if it's the smallest promise. Yeah. And one beautiful example is Melinda last week. She gave that beautiful quote, and I asked if she could share it. She goes, yes. And then, you know, a few days went by, and then she shared it, and I thought, beautiful, beautiful. I forgot, but you know, because she said yes, she remembered. So that is, you know, that tells me that, you know, this is someone that I could respect and trust. Yeah, because respect really truly is something that we need to earn too, you know, over time, because we show our character as we repeatedly become trustworthy or show certain traits over and over again. Yeah. Anything else about relationships that we want to, you know, put down, plan on becoming?
I think a big one for me is being able to be my true self with people. And that's probably more about me than it is about them. But I think we can make it easier for other people to be their authentic
Yeah.
self when we learn to make peace with our humanity, our
Mhm.
own and theirs.
Mhm. Yeah. It is hard when you've lived a life of over servicing, and being a people pleaser.
Mhm.
You know, it's like, what do I want? What do I like? You know, and I can like a lot of things. You know, we make ourselves so pliable. You know, it's a good thing and it's a bad thing too. doTERRA asked me to send them, you know, the music that I want to go on stage with, which I'm like, oh, I don't know. And then they're like, two fun things about you. And I thought, oh gosh, like I am such a serious and almost boring person in some ways. I'm like, oh, no. You know, so I sat down, I'm like, oh my gosh, I still need to know myself better. And I found a few things, and I thought, why was that a struggle? You know, so kind of like what Debbie said, it's like, oh, you know, be more of yourself, because I tend to just feel people out and just kind of, you know, balance them up a little bit, maybe even just chill and just kind of meet their energy. I think that's a good skill, you know, to keep the peace. Um, but yeah, I think I, at least for me, can a little bit exert a little bit more of my own personality more. Yeah.
I think the other thing, Jade, because this has been me the last week, is this self-discovery about like the things that I do love. They might be boring to other people, but
Yes.
like it's fun to me,
Yes.
right? And like
Yes.
to the people that I connect with, like you, like
Yes.
this is fun.
This
Like
is fun. This here, this serious, deep, meaningful conversation is fun. And I love, you know what? I talked to my Emily the other day. She booked a time with me. So because she's so busy, I'm like, dude, you know, just book a time. And then the thing is, she said to me, so Mom, like I used to love like learning and talking deeply and just being serious, and I don't need to go out, I don't need to do anything, you know, huge and fancy all the time. I just really like to talk to people and just hang out with people. And then I used to think that used to be boring, but no, I like it, and I tell people that now, and you know, and just I keep doing that, and I'm like, good. I'm like, I'm learning something new. I need to do that too. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So I think sometimes I'm like, oh, I want to do something fun. And then I'm like, think about all the things like that other people that do that are fun. And I'm like
Not fun for me.
it's okay occasionally, right?
Yes.
Like I will enjoy those things, but the
Yes.
most fun that I have is like the deep, meaningful stuff.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Yeah. So
Or like contribution, you know what I mean? Like when you're in your zone of genius and you're contributing
yeah.
somehow and like other lives are being made better, like
Yeah.
that is like golden.
Yeah, exactly. That's why, I don't care what day. If someone says, "Hey Jay, can we have a chat? Can I have a session with you?" I'm like, "Yes, sure." Yeah, because we get to talk about stuff and cry. Yeah, I don't know. It's so crazy.
Oh,
And I'm
gosh.
like, "Oh, I feel so good," and she was happy, and I'm happy. So there you go.
Yeah.
That's who I am. That's the weird. Oh, I should say that. I'm like, I like making people cry. Just kidding. No, they won't
There
understand.
you go.
Yeah, they won't understand.
Disclaimer. You have to add a disclaimer to
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. That's the inside joke. We know what that's about.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, guys, relationships. Anything else you want to add to this relationship? Being celestial. Well, next to that, very close to that relationship is actually contribution. Like, how do you want to contribute to the world? A lot of people they try to contribute when they're asked to. Like my sweet mother-in-law, she does not like cooking, and that's okay. But when she was asked to be the compassionate service leader for her church, she stressed and stressed and stressed and stressed. Um, and it wasn't her thing, but she pushed and pushed herself. And I told her, just delegate to people who love cooking. And she's like, oh, I just don't want to burden people. I said, no, you really need to do that. But when it comes to health, because she's a nurse, when it comes to just nursing people, I mean, she could do that for hours and have 5 hours of sleep a day. And, that's energizes her. But like cooking one meal and taking 15, 20 minutes, that like stresses her to death. Right, so we really need to kind of awaken to what drives us, what adds energy and excites us. And the more you do it, the more energized you get. So that's how you should be contributing to the world, right? And we don't have to kind of contribute to the world in every way. So I put here, do it wholeheartedly, because for her, it's like cooking a meal, it's like begrudging. And then, service oriented, we will feel our greatest amount of joy serving the world. Yeah. A persistence in work, because that heart is driving your behavior. Okay. Giving generously of your gifts and talents, that's kind of hard for people to admit sometimes. When they can do something well, they always think, oh, somebody else can do it better. But it doesn't matter. If you're a singer, sing. If you cook, or if you care for people in certain ways, and you love giving hugs or whatever, just keep doing that, because the stuff that energizes you is exactly how you should contribute to the world. Being courteous or merciful or generous, that's how you are contributing to the world, to contributing to the peace, contributing to elevating the vibration of the world. Okay. So I try to, I think I convinced my dad this, because he was telling his friend, oh, your daughter is graduating from high school, like just tell her to get something that makes a lot of money. Yeah. He said, Dad, no, don't say that. And he's like, why? That's what we need to do that. I said, well, you need to ask, the girl what she's passionate about, what she likes. She goes, oh, he's a kid. A kid doesn't know stuff. I said, yeah, she actually probably do know what she's good at. Just ask her what brings her most joy. Anyways, the dad and my dad had a conversation, and I kind of joined them there. And the daughter, she kind of like bounced around with some of her ideas, and she came back with the same old idea that she had when she was little, which is to become a doctor, because she really likes to help people. And it's really hard and it's a lot of sacrifice, but she's like, I still want to do that. And then the dad's like, yeah, okay. Because I said, look, if you love it, if it energizes you, you're going to push through all the obstacles that come your way. You're going to get there. Anyways, they found solutions to a lot of the problems that were in her way to becoming a doctor. And now she's enrolled, and she's, starting very soon. So I was happy to kind of help them in that way. The girls were very happy and very excited now. Yeah, so we don't really have to settle because everybody serves in a certain way and you serve differently. You don't have to settle and be like everyone else. So any thoughts on contribution? Can you do your thing and just put the blinders on? Just keep doing it. And not feel bad. And sometimes it feels easy for you. Yeah. It doesn't have to be a challenge. And most of the time it's enjoyable for you. It's okay to enjoy yourself. So with all our loved ones, we just need to find that dance where we do the things that we're really good at, and they do the things that they're good at, and we become this yin yang. We just work well as one, and that's called perfection. Yeah. Contribution. How about this? How do you like to contribute to the world?
If I could teach classes, like all the classes that I love to teach
Mm-hmm.
every week, and have sessions with people all day, or like 2-3 times a day, 4 days a week, I would be thrilled.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so beautiful. Yeah.
Mhm.
And I tell people you can actually have it all as well. It doesn't have to be all at once, but in the seasons. Yeah. And I kind of gave myself permission to do more of that recently. Uh, I love kids and I love teaching kids. I love playing with them. So, when I was offered this opportunity to be a kindergarten teacher, I thought, yeah, I guess why not? I'll just do it. And I don't have to do it forever. I just do it whenever. So do another year of it and, enjoy it. And then also do this business of mine and also write and, also do energy sessions with people. And yeah, why do I have to just restrict it to just one or two things? So yeah. I'm sure when we're in the celestial world, we can do multiple things that we enjoy.
Okay, I have an experience.
Yep. Okay, Anella.
I was like at the edge of my seat. I'm like, man, I really want to answer, but I didn't have the words, right?
Yeah.
So hopefully this will come out the way I'm
We'll
thinking.
feel it.
Yeah. I think you guys already feel it. So I've been deciding whether or not to go back to doTERRA as
Corporate.
in corporate, yes. And this was probably for the past couple of weeks. I submitted my application, like just everything aligned to where this specific department that I wanted to go to, I reached out to a friend and they're like, they're actually hiring. So I reached out to the individual that's over hiring. And at first the job was only internal for internal applicants. And when I reached out to this individual, he said, no, I'll make it public so you can at least apply.
Mhm.
So in my mind, like everything just aligned. Yesterday I had an interview, and just kind of going back to what we were talking about and honoring myself, it felt so good to be me in the interview.
Mhm.
And even down to the questions that they were asking. And, if any of us have been to interviews, like they have kind of set questions they like to ask. But when I spoke from my heart.
Mhm.
And even when they talked about why, they asked me, they're like, so for some of you who don't know, I used to work in corporate, and I left about a couple years ago, but they asked me the question, why are you coming back? Um, I told them, I said, my physical health is my most important priority right now. And I want to be in an environment that holds the same values that I do, that cherish the same values that I do when it comes to searching for purity. And I want to try and give this a shot if this is where I'm supposed to be. And they kind of looked like, normally people are, they want to come for the money, they all this kind of stuff. I'm like, no, I want to be in a specific environment.
Mhm.
And when I spoke, the words just flowed from my heart.
Mhm.
Everything did. Even down to one of the questions they asked me, they said, well, you talk about values that you cherish. What do you cherish? And I said, honestly, a place where people can make mistakes, they can feel safe to learn. And that is what doTERRA provides. And
Mhm.
I just kept talking and talking, but when I spoke, it again was just from the heart. And I think back, even a few years before I was even introduced to energy balancing, um, I was not in the same place. But walking into that interview yesterday and speaking from my heart was something totally different. And whether or not I get the job, to me, that doesn't matter. Because for once, I felt like I was able to show up as myself, even in a setting where sometimes we practice, we try and script, we do all these things to be prepared for this interview, right? But regardless of whether I get the job, I feel like I've done my part in showing up as myself.
I love that.
I love that so much because it's like the truth of who you are is unattached to the outcome.
Yes.
Like that's freedom, right? That is freedom.
Oh, I feel that. I'm so proud of you. And it just felt like perhaps you left so you can find yourself and then come back when you found yourself. Yeah, or more like detect who you are. Yeah.
Yeah, yes. And even when we talk about contribution, like I see myself contributing and helping women. And
Mhm.
and I'm like, the reason why I even chose doTERRA too is because, I do want to work on my physical health and just working with professionals as well. Um, but also how I can contribute. I'm like,
Mm.
I literally know all these skills that I've been practicing for these past few years. I
Mhm.
want to be able to share that with these
That
leaders.
training. Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
good.
You know what I'm saying?
I
Like
know.
things came,
Oh,
but it wasn't because like I just read books. It's like I've done the work and the experiences are there, and the wisdom is something that you will never take away from me,
yeah,
but that I know is true and I want to share it.
yeah. All those, tears and heartaches and stuff that I witnessed at the retreats that you've been to, all of you've paid the price. So yeah, I totally get you. Yeah, I love it. Well, we have somebody hopefully inside, you know. So we'll be like, Anilla, tell us stuff.
Of course. 'Cause yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh,
Thanks for our Earth
fantastic.
agents. We have to move
I
north.
hope it's like the healing hands. Something like that, Want to go to those trips with you guys.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm really proud of you. This is just, yeah, exciting. So exciting. It feels good. Yeah. Love it. So thank you. Yes. you know exactly how you want to contribute to the world, helping women, you know, because you felt that passion, and it kind of feeds your soul. Yeah, and so that's like, I want to do more of that because I get more energized. Yep.
Yes.
So I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. That's the best answer. Love it. Love it.
So how you help people, as a wellness advocate, I will make people cry from the inside. Not make them, but it will definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, yeah. Yeah, but you've tried, and you know how the wellness advocate feels, and
Yeah.
you've done that, and all of this, the time that you were away, it was just all this training that would make you the perfect candidate. Yeah, love it. Oh,
Yeah. And who knows? I don't know. I don't know, the timing of how long I will be in that department or whatever, but
now
we'll
with that
see.
parent, they move you up very quickly because
Yeah.
the company's growing so much, and then they just need more people that have had experience to take on the next role, and the next one they'll bring on the newbies. Yeah. So I'm sure that you move up ranks so quickly. Yeah. So I did a chat with a lady yesterday, even though it was holiday, but she's in America. Um, she's a account manager for Australia, actually, the Australian Diamonds. And she was working from home, and her son, it was, I don't know, he looks like he's 6 years old, and he was shirtless. And he's running around in the background. And I'm like, I love doTERRA. I just love that these people can be an account manager and work from home, and be with their children at the same time. That's, yes. And I don't care that this kid is running around shirtless behind her. We're doing what we need to do, and we get through. Yeah, that's the best company. Yeah. So
Yeah,
good.
my sister is the same way. She's a business development manager for our Pacific region, and when she has to take calls, she literally has her 5 kids like jumping on her and just kissing her and running in the background. And the wellness advocates do the same thing. They're like, wow, there is a company that actually cares about families.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it. I'm not going to be like, oh, you're not professional. I'm like, it's how it should be. Good. I'm glad you're at home. Yeah. Yeah. I feel bad if she was in a corporate office, with all things fancy behind her. And I'm like, and where are your babies? Yeah. Good. Yeah. So let's you take a few minutes to talk about the next thing here, and I'm liking that Anala kind of led to that. It's the physical health, clean, pure, strong, healthy, disciplined, self-respect, and bright. So all of these topics will, interrelate and connect to each other, but it's good to kind of split them up and focus on the meaning of each one. Yeah, so like over there, if you have this pure character, clean-minded, you usually reflect that in your physical being, physical looks. So Patsy, you're here. I just want to share with you, like I'm like, you know, um, I've like adopted her son as like mine. So I'm like following him, as he lives his mission life. But every picture I see, he's just clean and he's bright, and he just stands out like a sore thumb. And I'm like, if I had a son, I hope he's like that too, But because I read his emails, and I love his thoughts, and it's just intelligent and pure, and I'm like, but physically he reflects that. And that's what I want, for all my children, for all my friends, because you can tell. So you can set that as a goal, to be that bright, healthy, strong, pure person physically. I think just sometimes we just want to be healthy, want to be good, and we don't intentionally pick these words and say, that's who I want to become physically, right? But when we do, it's so much easier to become that. My Emily was talking to me about this. She's like, I was behind the counter. She sells candy at the Brigham Young University bookstore. That they sell, what is it? All these sweets, and a guy, an elderly gentleman, he came by and he passed her and he just turned around and he's like, you were just shining, you're bright. And she was like, Mom, it felt so good when he said that, because we want to be like that. And somebody pointed that out. I'm like, good job, you. Yeah. So anyways, what do you guys think? Clean, pure, strong, healthy, disciplined, self-respect, bright. What else? Other things about the physical health that you want to be?
You can always see it in people's face, like you said. It's an image. It's not just that their countenance is bright. You can tell when people are taking care of themselves, and just it shines in their smile. Like they just are happy. They have good energy and positive. And obviously that's what we all are striving for. But it's like a whole health thing. It's not just like we do all this beautiful vitamins and take care of ourselves that way, but we're trying to be physical, and we also are spiritually minded. And I think it's like you said, the whole package, when everything is aligned and we're able to do it all for ourselves and to take care of ourselves. And like others have said, like sharing and being kind to others and having gratitude, it radiates that in the human being.
Yeah, and we need to be the example. Hey, as mums, or like Anella, as aunties, you just need to be that example, because you want your kids or your nieces and nephews to be that way. But we can't be like, oh, this martyr running around just all stressed out and everything and frazzled, right? We need to be that example. And like Debbie says, choose to have that time and space to take care of yourself, and then you can take care of others. Not selfish. Yeah, it's wisdom. Anything else about the physical health that you guys want to share? That was beautiful, Patsy.
I just think overall you need both your spiritual and your physical to not just reach your full potential, but to really contribute to building the kingdom of God. Like, I actually was just thinking about this last night. Since coming back from my mission, it's been about 10 years, and I have gained over 150 pounds since being back from my mission. And I reflected on when I was on my mission and just how I could move. And when people gave me those compliments, and I still get them right now about my countenance or spirit, like, wow, your spirit is so strong. I get those things. But I remembered getting them as a missionary, and I like had a firm yes, like, I know that too. Thank you so much. But when I look at myself now and I hear those things, I just went to the temple and I heard great compliments. I loved them so much, but there was always the but, like, but I'm not my best physical self yet, you know. I know that, if I were to compare that back to my mission days, there wouldn't have been that but,
Yeah.
just a solid yes. So, I mean, I don't know, Jade, I don't know how, if you could like put words to that part of like, but, for me, or like maybe what that emotion is. But I know that if I was like fully spiritually 100%, physically 100%, there would be no blocks, and I would be able to move more fluently
Yeah.
and loving.
I actually received a bunch of wisdom about that recently. It's a lot of generational stuff that we must do. It's not an option anymore. So when I came back to Australia, I felt like I just needed buck up and get everything situated and settled in. And I'm visiting family, trying to serve, and just, all the things that I really wanted to do all this time, I just dove right in. But I just didn't slow down enough to take care of myself. And a few weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, when I hurt my back, and a friend came over and she did several sessions on me, and a lot of it is uh, generational stuff, and it even went back to Vietnam. Like I cleared something for the whole country. Um, so sometimes you think I'm good, but that tells you I need to slow down and I need to heal for generations. So that's how I see that but, because once she removed and cleared a whole bunch of things, I felt the support of generations, and I feel healthier and stronger, lighter than I've ever. And like I said, I last night I'm like, okay, I haven't exercised, but I didn't feel tired, so I did almost a 5K. I just like wanted to do a run for an hour, and then I looked at the hour and I looked at how far I went, and I'm like, oh, I did almost 5Ks, and I'm like, that's great. Um, but like, I don't remember the last time I was able to do that. Yeah. And now I'm healthier than I was before I came back. So, it's just the blocks says, hey, you got to stop and really clear for ancestors. Just because you're not hurting, if you're not hurting now, they're trying to make you hurt so that you can stop, really, really stop. So before that happens, really dig into the history, because I've learned so much about my ancestors just recently, through the stuff that I've discovered. Everything was generations back. So it's sort of like the roots grow even deeper. So if you have a desire to grow taller, you're going to be invited to dig deeper. Yeah. So don't think of it as a problem right now, like that, but think of it as an opportunity. Yeah. And just focus on that and clear away as much as you can. And then I just feel hopeful that everything else would change. And one of the false beliefs is, we start going downhill with our physical health as we get older, but we don't necessarily have to. Yeah. And you're still young, Anella, so I feel like there's even more hope, right? So, yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. I want to testify to that because I had an experience last night with my grandmother, my dad's mom.
Yeah.
I've never met her, and my dad has never talked about his parents.
Mm-hmm.
So like that whole generation, I don't know. And just as of about 3 months ago, I've had this burning desire to know more about my grandparents, my dad's parents, literally. And I had an experience last night where I cleared something for her. She's passed already, both of my dad's parents. But I've had an experience with her last night where recently I've just been so attached to my father and wanting to forgive a lot of the trauma that has happened between us. And I felt like I've done so good at that and, just tried as much as I could. Um, and last night I just realized that a lot of it was her and the regret that she has held on to for years of not caring for her son the way that she's wanted to. And it was coming through me. So last night I just felt, after I cleared that for her, I asked Heavenly Father who that was, and I was able to identify it was her. And I have felt so close to her. I have felt like I was living with her in her home.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never, on this earth physically have met her.
Mm-hmm.
So I do testify that it is a lot of generational stuff that
Yeah.
maybe I should look at.
No, we're so blessed. We not struggling to go out to the farm and milk the cow every time we need milk. We don't have to just forage through things. Like my mum, her story is like every day she wakes up and she goes into the forest and finds food. And she was sent away when she was 7 to work. And so there's this all of these struggles that people have, we forget. And here we are, having first world problems, and we whinge about it. and, you know, learning and pausing and loving on them, it opens your soul. And I feel like I have so much more compassion, so much more patience with everything, you know, that I see around me, you know, not just the quirks that my parents have or whatever. I just have so much more love for them. And it looks like they're happier and they're healthier, and they don't even know what I've done for them, you know. Um, and I teach my children, you know, like I just feel like you need to know that these people have been through stuff, and the stuff that we go through. Not that we're comparing, oh, your stuff is not as bad, but we really should feel gratitude. You know, this is the most abundant time in all of history, you guys. You want water, you want clean water, you just turn on the tap. That wasn't even the case, you know, even like 50, 60 years ago, for most places in the world. So yeah, yeah, it's just an opportunity, you guys. So inconvenient for us with our modern day pace. But you know, I thought I have 6 weeks to do whatever I need to do, because it's like summer holidays. And 3 of the weeks I was in bed and hurting and trying to shuffle around the house and needing assistance for everything. And I thought, oh, what a waste of time. But all that time, I just kept on clearing and clearing and clearing stuff. And I felt like I've resurrected. And all the stuff that I wanted to get done, it was done so quickly. So it was like God caught me up in time and that more. And so now I feel like, oh, I'm done. I thought it would take longer, but no, good. Thank you for helping. And so that's the support that you get from the ancestors once you help, you know, resolve the things in the roots. I do feel taller. I do feel like I can grow stronger now. But as I said, if you want to grow even taller, you'll always get an opportunity to go deeper into your roots. It's just a win-win for everyone anyways at the end of the day. Yeah. So, so let's leave it at that, about, you know, eternity starts now. We can continue this next week, and I love this conversation and I don't want to rush it. So we'll stop the recording now. Please join us next week.